Thanks, Elizabeth, or Mariette, for the beautiful music. And good evening, everybody. Let's take a little bit of time while we're waiting for people to enter, just to come into the stillness and settle down after our busy day and week. Take a few deep out breaths to release all stress and tension and toxicity. And then come into a gentle rhythmic breathing and follow the breath. Being aware where the focus of attention is relative to the breath, whether it's in the belly or in the chest or in the nostrils or in the movement of the chest with the breath. Recognizing that the breath is our most powerful facility for bringing us into our center. And into the moment, into presence. As we focus on the breath, we release all the past and future planning. And come into that beautiful, sacred place of stillness, of connection. Suddenly we become more aware of our bodies, discomforts, feelings, sensations. So let's take these few moments just to be fully in our bodies. And wherever there is some tension, just go there. Be present in that part of the body. And send your breath down there. Not trying to change anything, but just being present. And in fact, welcoming what shows up. Last night we had a chat with the Israeli group, and the words respect and gratitude came up. And that was for this amazing facility of our body. So if we can extend gratitude for how it has supported our lives, with deep respect for its miraculous ability to transform, to heal. And of course, this goes beyond our body. Gratitude for the essence of who we are. Gratitude for life. And gratitude for the new cycle of life that we have moved into in this last week, which brings its own opportunities and challenges, but a whole new, fresh energy into the world that is uplifting. Brings kindness and integrity. Consideration of the whole. So the gratitude for the presence of the Creator in whatever form it manifests in our lives, for the presence that surrounds us now, binds us together, bringing us into a unified field of love and union. Let's extend our honoring gratitude to that force, that unifying force of love. That unifies. So let us maintain the state of presence and connection throughout our time together, even as we consider different questions around current issues that we're dealing with. So let's stay in that meditative state. And I do have a couple of questions here. Some of them I can answer with 1 or 2 words. And so there's lots of space for questions if you have. So please feel free to put them in the chat. Elizabeth will relay them to me. So, Rodney, are you here? Rodney Ackerman?
Yes, Jeff, I'm here.
Oh, good. So you have a question around the numbering of the vortex centers, which we learn in the foundation course, the ankles and knees and so on. That's what you're talking about, right?
Correct.
And in your chart, for whatever reason, it starts with 0 and then 1, 2. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
I'm not sure why that is. I know in all my charts, it starts at 1. So you might want to correct that, or if you've been working with a 0, it doesn't matter really what numbering you work with. But typically we don't start anything with 0 for whatever reason. So the capsula is correct. Has anyone got any other information around that in terms of the vortex centers, left, right, center? Anyone's charts start with 0? Oh, I'm not sure where that came from. Anyone charts start with 1? Could you put your hands up so I know where you're at? Is it mainly 1? Okay. Great. Thanks, Rodney. I hope that clarifies it for you.
Does indeed. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Now, Tina Froh, are you around? I have a wonderful...
Yes, I'm here.
Where are you? Oh, Christina. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to tell us about your apple tree?
Well, I have a quite small apple tree, but every year it gives a lot of fruit, and it's lovely apples that you can, both are great to eat and to make mashed, well, all kinds of fruit dishes
Jams
with.
and stuff.
Yes,
Compotes.
jam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it has, in Swedish it's called kräfta, and I think that is well, it could be cancer, sort of, but when I read it on the internet, the English the English translation, I think that's the right thing that I wrote to you there.
You wrote severe canker, a fungus disease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is the case.
Okay. So from my experience and many others, if a tree plant is on a geopathic stress line, it will begin to develop tumors, cancer, or it will move away from the geopathic stress line, because trees do not like geopathic stress. And often it can develop growths that are not healthy. And we've had experiences of correcting the geopathic line and watching the tree come back to life quite rapidly. And also it will begin to straighten out because it tries to escape the geopathic line, which are narrow lines depending on what it is. It can be a stream. And so the best thing really is to place a triangle card, which is the earth card, and maybe a generator if you can determine if it is a geopathic stress line. The triangle card in itself deals with fungus in plants. We have placed a earth card, triangle card, in very large greenhouses that grow wheatgrass, different things, sprouts, that had fungal issues and inhibited the growth process. And we placed one triangle, which looks like that, in one of the trays. The greenhouses were maybe a kilometer long almost. And within a couple of days, the fungus disappeared. We also placed a water card on the water supply. So the two cards together, so the water is enhanced, and then you are bringing back the elemental kingdom to the trees and healing the tree. But if it is geopathic, the generator could be helpful in healing, balancing that geopathic line. Do you know how to test for a geopathic?
Can I test it with what you
Absolutely,
call it?
with the dowsing rods.
Yes.
While you hold in your mind geopathic stress. So you walk towards the tree from different angles, hold the dowsing rods or a pendulum, and think geopathic stress, you have to hold the intention. And you may see that there is a line going through that tree. Is it the only tree affected? It's just one tree?
Yes, it's the only one affected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they are in lines because there's that geopathic line.
I have an old cherry tree as well, but it doesn't. I don't think it has. Well, it has a lot of growth and so on, but I don't think it is ill.
Okay. Well, check it out. Check with your pendulum to see if there is geopathic.
Yes. And if it tests strong, weak, and if it is geopathic stress around, where do I place the cards? Do I place them on
You could place, well, if you can check from your garden where to place the generator, you may find a specific spot. Okay. If not, just place them both under the tree.
Yeah, okay.
And you think about your tree. Just go think about it. Yeah, I don't think it's geopathic. I think it's something related to the tree. It may have some sort of condition. So I think the triangle card on its own will be fine.
I have a question. Is it possible to bring in, because we have winter, my first following up question is it possible to do this treatment during midwinter as we have in Sweden right now, or should I wait till early spring?
No, you can place a triangle card. Just
yes. And is it possible to bring in a little branch of the tree and put it on the tree of life chart?
That's fine. Absolutely. That's a very good idea.
I've tested this today because I just wanted to see if it have some effect.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can take the tree, part of the tree, put it in a circle, tree of life, and heal it that way.
Yes.
Or you just put a triangle, and that could be more effective because you've got a whole circle, a tree of life.
I will try both. So it's interesting to see. Thank you.
Please report back to us.
Yeah, I will.
But we need at least 1 bottle of apple compote.
Yeah.
Well. Send us.
When you come to Sweden next time, I will bring you some.
Great. Any other questions around this?
Jeff,
by the way, go ahead.
Will you take a moment and just explain again how to use the triangle card on a priority outside?
Yeah,
it looks
so ideally, you can place it right on the tree that is diseased. That's fine. If you want to heal the whole garden or a forest or whatever, a space, you look for the priority tree or bush and place it there. However, because the apple tree has been affected, you can place it directly on that. That's fine. I don't know how many other trees you have in your garden, but that'll do it. Unless you want to find the priority and do the whole garden. We have a wonderful fig tree in our garden, which last year didn't do too well. The leaves were a little affected and it wasn't that prolific. And this year I placed a triangle card underneath the fig tree. And it is hard to believe how prolific, how healthy that fig tree, and it's affecting everything, the whole garden. So you'll see your whole garden respond to that, because what it does is it activates the elementals, like the nature spirits, and it brings so much energy to the tree. And we have gardeners here in South Africa that have battled with certain bushes and plants and trees. They can't believe the difference.
And,
all right.
When you have this, when you're working with trees and other living things in your garden, for how long? Can I dose that as well? For how long it will be? Or do you know for how long I will have this
I would leave
triangle?
it for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you can
yeah.
check it. Yeah, leave it
Okay.
for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
leave it for a while. All right, so we're now into the area of vaccines. Topical subject, isn't it? You wonder how we got here. So Hujan, are you here? She asked, what do you think about applying the pre and post-vaccination sequence for those who had COVID and who are working through after effects? I sent a message to Hujan to do that. I think that would be a great idea. I just want to clarify something about this sequence. It's available on the Life Alignment chat. There are a number of cards you place on the body that are slightly different from the sequence I gave you last week because it's different. It's a whole sequence. So some are the same, but some are different, and there are more cards. So you place cards on your body and you touch a number of points. And 1 or 2 of those points are module 5 points that most of you might not know, and I'll tell you about them, but the rest of them I think you probably know. So the cards, there are 4 cards: Restore, Pentagon, Octagon, Rainbow, which is different from what I told you last week. You can use that sequence, that's standalone. And then you can use this sequence.
Jeff, can you repeat the cards, please?
Yeah, so I'll, this whole thing is on the chat.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't want to rehash it, but I want to go over the 2 points that are module 5 points. So far, are you all with me on this? Please go to the Life Alignment chat. Cherry kindly put it on the chat. I can send Elizabeth an email of it. Have you got it, Elizabeth? Sorry, can't hear you.
Sorry, I do, and I was just going to add a file of it in the chat, so it'll be there. People can
Okay.
download it from there.
Thank you so much. So we've got Restore card on blood point here now, rather than the last time I gave it to you was on the thymus immune system. A Pentagon on detox, Octagon on liver, Rainbow on cell nucleus, which we typically place vertically across the cell nucleus. Now, the 2 points you may not have, because they're module 5, if you haven't done module 5, is the mitochondria. I'm sure you've heard of the mitochondria. It is 1 finger on the oxygen point, cellular oxygenation, and 1 finger 5 centimeters, 2 inches to the right. So it looks like that, horizontal. So 1 finger here, 1 finger there, horizontal. So that's the mitochondria. The T lymphocytes is, T lymphocytes is right ear up to the collarbone, in line with the right ear, just below the collarbone. And just at the edge of the collarbone. So that's the T lymphocytes. Renata, I think I might have told them left ear last night on the Israeli. So please, will you correct that?
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
I just realized that I mentioned left ear to the Israelis.
Okay, we should. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff, I have a question.
And etheric body, which if you haven't done, well, I'm sure you've all got the etheric body, 3 inches above the solar plexus with the back of the hand. So just above 3 inches, 7.5 centimeters above the solar plexus chakra. Sorry, who had a question? Hujan?
Two questions. One is, so, because when I was gonna, experiment with people who have the coronavirus and who have symptoms still, I was gonna place both pre and post-vaccine sequence on them, but do I just do post-vaccine sequence? Would that be enough?
Yeah, just put the cards on and the sequence, do that together. Now, for those of you who are about to get a vaccine, I recommend we place the cards on ahead of time, even during the vaccination or just until then. And then afterwards, with the cards on the body, we do the sequence. And the correction points, if you have ones, we use 2 ones, 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out, the 2 sets of correction points. If you don't, just touch them points with your fingers and hold for a long time. Just allow the energy to move through those. Okay, so if you don't have ones, that's fine. And Francesca, yeah.
What are the correction points with the wands?
Do you know how to use the ones? Do you have ones?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we have a system, I'm sure you're aware of it, where we do 1 wand in to a point, right?
Right,
And 1 wand out at a point.
right.
So that's correction points using the ones. 1 in, 1 out.
I'm asking, where are the correction points?
No, I give them to you. They're in
Oh,
the
okay.
sequence. Okay.
Thank you.
So wand in at the virus point, out at the thymus, like that. And then the second set is in at detox, out at DNA. And Francesca asked that because when we did the detox sequence in Vortex, we used the correction points, cellular oxygenation and spleen. You can add that, not essential. Are we?
Just one more question. Can we use this from distance, or do you prefer that they should be?
You can use it in distance. You can use it on the chart, but on the points, on those points. If you have a mat, please use it on the mat, but on the chart. I will try and find a simpler solution using, say, a circle to do it for people that need to do it long distance. But this can be done long distance, okay, with a witness. And Elizabeth, is Adam here?
No, but I spoke with him this morning.
Can you report to us what he said?
Yeah, he said, he posted that this is amazing. I didn't do the before, but the post-vaccine, he says it was great for that first hour. He just did it for an hour, and said it was a night and day difference in his energy levels. And this morning he stated that the energy level is still clear. He really feels like this is a very powerful sequence, and wanted to thank you very much. He feels back to normal still. He had his vaccination on Friday. So has for 3 days was feeling very groggy, and this just cleared it right up.
Oh, this changed it for him.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Wonderful.
Jeff, sorry to be a nuisance. Just to clarify this. So you put the cards on those points and then you touch mitochondria, T lymphocytes and etheric body. And then do you enter or just then bounce with the wands?
No, there's a whole sequence,
Okay.
Caroline. It's RNA, T lymphocytes, liver, mitochondria, lymphatic system, etheric body, and enter.
Okay. Yeah.
And then correction points. It's
Okay.
on the sequence.
I'll have a look.
Have
on
a look
chat.
at the sequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth has sent the file.
The file is in the chat. So it's called pre.post.vaccine.png. It's you can just open that up, click on it and open it right
That's
up.
the chat with Jeff website that you're
No, it's
talking
right.
about.
It's this chat in
The
Zoom.
chat here.
Oh, in the chat here. Oh, okay. I don't know how you access that.
You just click on it.
Just
Okay,
press
thank
chat.
you. Thank you.
Cherry had her vaccination yesterday. Cherry, do you want to say anything about how you felt after the sequence? I did.
So before I went to go and have the vaccination, I put the Batman on the mat and I put the cards on these places where Jeff has said. So I wasn't actually wearing them when I went, but I had them on the mat on the correct body points. And when I got back, having spoken to Jeff, I then did the sequence. And when I got back, my heart was palpitating a bit. I don't know if it was out of nerves or what. I didn't feel brilliant, but I didn't feel very sick either. I had a bit of a headache and, felt a little out of sorts, felt very tired suddenly. And then I did the sequence and my headache went, and Jeff also did a little bit of work, but so the headache went. I've had no pain in my arm whatsoever. I have no redness at the spot where I've been injected. I felt a little tired today, but it's a very dull day outside, so that can contribute to the tiredness, but I'm feeling fantastic. And when I got home, I actually put the cards on me before I did the sequence, and I wore the cards on me the whole night.
Wonderful, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you. Philippa, have you done the sequence since your vaccination?
No, actually, I haven't yet. Had an incredibly busy couple of days, but
you have felt okay.
Yes, just the very simple 3 cards that I used.
Okay.
I
That's
felt
good.
brilliant. By month, it was only one day, and I feel great. But this is really wonderful what you've given us.
Great. Thank you. Now, just to re-mention it, we've spoken about it, that I was sent the sample of the Pfizer vaccine, and as you know, when we test for supplements or foods or any substance we put in the body, we like to get a clockwise spin when you hold it above the substance, not asking questions or anything. It should go clockwise if it's in harmony with the body. Now, of course, most foods are not, and certainly no medication. So I naturally expected to as well, got a very strong anti-clockwise or counterclockwise for Americans on the Pfizer. And I thought, well, I'll just put it on a water card, on a restore card, and nothing, absolutely nothing helped. Wands, mats, I used the whole heavy artillery. I mean, I literally used everything I've got, and nothing helped, which was a little alarming for me because typically something will help. So I placed it on my new little pad, and within 20-30 seconds, it went strongly clockwise. And what I then did was I transmitted that frequency to all the vaccinations around the world, thinking, we'll try it out. We'll see if it affects it. Now, I've had several people come back to me to say that it was clockwise. And believe me, it would never be clockwise otherwise. So it seems to have worked, and it also gives us confidence that we can change the quantum field around substances, people, thought patterns, etc. And it was very consoling because everyone that has tested the Pfizer, now I'm assuming it's working on the AstraZeneca. Cherry, you didn't manage to check the bottle, did you, the actual vaccine?
No, unfortunately, they wouldn't give it to me because it's the bottle or the injection was filled elsewhere.
Yeah.
And just someone is asking, is it only the Pfizer? No, I had the AstraZeneca.
So I'm assuming, yeah, thank you, Chair. Cherry had the AstraZeneca. So I'm assuming, I'm waiting. Diana was going to send me. Diana, are you here? The AstraZeneca.
Yeah, but doctors are incredibly reluctant to. My sister asked if she could have the syringe, and they absolutely refused. Apparently the glass vials they won't give because we're very short of the glass vials. So they go and they're, used again, reused. So far, no luck.
Okay, so if anybody can get hold of an AstraZeneca or Moderna, and not even send it to me, we can connect over Zoom and I can do it across the Zoom. So we can do it that way. Okay.
Jeff?
Yes.
I had the Moderna vaccine 2 weeks ago, the day after you gave us the sequence for the 3 cards on the body.
Right.
So I taped them, Scotch taped on those body points, and I felt fine afterwards. I pendled, left them on for about an hour, and the next afternoon I started feeling bad. So
Okay.
I just felt kind of fluish for a day and a half.
Yeah.
And the 3rd day I felt great.
Okay.
Soreness, headache, body aches, cough, but the 3rd day it was just mild soreness.
Yeah. I think there is a natural process that we go through. It's not going to necessarily release all of that detox process from everybody.
Yeah. Well, I've never had a flu vaccine or the flu before, so I was not surprised that I had some reaction.
Jeff, if somebody was able to connect with you whilst they were having the vaccination, would that help?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We could try. Let's try that. Now, I've done this quite a lot with a number of different chemical procedures, cancer procedures, and it has worked very effectively in eliminating the side effects. So we can do that. Okay. All right, so the next question. Any other questions around vaccinations so we can put everybody's heart at rest around this? I'm not saying that suddenly becomes fantastic, but the main thing is it eliminates as much as possible. I am sure there will be an evolution of this, and that as we test and go along, there may be more procedures or sequences to add upon this. I will keep, if you can keep me informed, because we don't have vaccinations in South Africa yet. I think they are in very limited numbers here. Might take a year until they get to me. So please let me know.
Jeff, Monique here. Can I ask another question? Would you think it would, the COVID sequence, you actually designed it to be used on the mats for distance purposes. Would you think it would be beneficial to have the vaccine sequence as well on the mat?
On the mat itself, to add it to the mat?
Yes.
It's a good question, Monique. I'll check on that and see if we can add it to that as well. Or combine the COVID sequence and the vaccination. I'm sure there's a connection there. Thanks for asking that question. I'll look into that.
Thank you. I find it's really beneficial, using the COVID sequence when, I've actually lied myself many times on the sequence itself. And I find that if I was having like cold symptoms, then they really disappeared much quicker than that. Actually, I put my own name on there, for example, because I was connected to that. Yeah.
Now you can always add on the COVID sequence the Batman, the chart, and put those cards on those specific points. So that's really the same effect. So without having to design where they go on the mat, do it that way. Okay? I think that's the easiest, but I think that's a very good idea to do that. All right.
Jeff, I have a question. Ruth Christine here.
Yes, Ruth.
Could you just comment a little bit around, about the vaccination, whether to take it or not to take it, or, have you talked about it before? I haven't been able to attend last time.
Yeah.
So I just think it's difficult to judge it, to consider it, and all the pluses and minuses. So could you say a few things about it?
No, you just answered the question.
Okay, I get it.
That it's difficult to judge it, and I certainly wouldn't want to say to anybody, take it or don't take it. It's something we have to consider. Because,
I understand that. Just thoughts for
there
us to consider.
Are frightening videos and talks and stuff against it, and then the videos for it, and it's difficult to know. But we have to make an overall holistic consideration when we do that. It could be a matter of life and death, whether we take it or not, or it may have long-term side effects. The main thing, because it's new and I don't know enough, I'm not a biochemist or epidemiologist, so I don't have the information, and I don't think many people as well. When you look at some of the ingredients, some of the top physicians don't understand some of the ingredients, say in Moderna. It's a new type of vaccine, and I don't think we've had enough experience and understand enough with the spike proteins and the effect on the DNA. So I'm doing my best just to neutralize the effect of it. But to tell anybody to take it or not take it is really a very personal call, because we could say to somebody, don't take it, it's dangerous, and then they contract the virus. So it's quite dangerous to try and influence somebody one way or the other. You can give them talks, YouTubes, that can educate them. But I'm preferring to be in the position of, because people are going to take them. I think we eventually have to take it. If we want to travel and if we want to go places and do things, we may. So you don't have to possibly, but then you are limited in where you go and what you do. So that a lot of people may go there until they reach herd immunity. And the most important thing is for us to try and neutralize whatever side effects there are. So I did have to do a little bit of work on Cherry afterwards, by the way, using the pad. And once I get the pad out and once we get access to it, because it's very powerful, we'll be able to do some work on that, and I'll be able to guide you. Okay.
Well, it is at least seemingly that you have to have a certain immune system to be able to handle the vaccine. Because we have had several death cases of the elderly in Norway.
Absolutely.
And
there have been allergies, allergic reactions, and there have been, negative cases. But then look how many negative cases to the COVID.
Of course, there is an outcry when the elderly die of COVID, when they die from the vaccines. There's like, oh, this is something we just have to include in the calculations.
So I would hope that we can do some global work on this. The evidence has shown me that whatever I did with the Pfizer has worked, and we'll love to see how it works on the others. And we'll keep on doing that all together, collectively. And I think as we create a collective protection around that, it'll have a very global effect on the field. Do you agree with me?
I have a question, Jeff.
Sure, but then they will just keep on giving us the vaccines because we handle them so well. So it's like when you have the whole thing going.
Someone said, well, why don't you do balances to prevent them making you have the vaccine? Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily change that. But yes, Sherry.
You started, I put this in the chat, but you started talking about the pad, that Vortex pad that you're manufacturing. I called it the Vortex mat, but could you talk a little bit more about what that is and the purpose of it? And is there a cost yet?
No, it's 6 new cards completely that are organized in a hexagonal fashion in a small pad that looks like that. Similar to the mat, similar to the seat. So it's quite small, you can put it on the chakras. And so maybe we can have an experience during our meditation where I will apply the pad and see if you can sense it through the airwaves. How about that? We'll try that.
Thank you.
I sense it.
You sense it, yeah. So it has a profound effect on the chakras when you hold it in different parts of the body, and you may be able to feel this as we do that. So I'll work with it during the meditation, okay? So Lynn, how are we doing time-wise? We just have 12 minutes left. So Lynn asked guidance on how to work with children. I work with children all the time, up till the age of about 70 something. And we're always working with children, but working with little children, my most success, depending on the age of the child, is working through the mother, long distance, using the child as a witness, the hair, writing. And of course, when you can begin to work with the child on the table, it's different. But typically, when you work with a child who's very much within the family field, I like to work with the mother, the father, the brothers, sisters, the dogs, everybody. So the mother or whoever brings a child for a balance, but the child stays at home, she brings the hair samples of all the family, because the child is so receptive to the influences around the family, as well as karmically and through the family patterns themselves. But that's all coming into the field. So what I ask, I may have the mother on the table as the surrogate, and I'll say, who's first? Could be that child, it could be the mother, it could be the brother, it could be the father. So I may do 3 or 4 balances. And so what we've done at the end is we have encompassed all the family influences on that child, depending, of course, on the age of the child. But it is really remarkable how that works. So you're working with all the influences, whether it's family patterns, whether it's karmic patterns, and of course, life patterns from the family, from mother. I've seen miraculous things happening just doing work through the mother, or not even young children, a teenager, where there may be an issue between mother and teenager, a lot of conflict. Working with the mother may need to let go, the mother may need to detach and set the child free, or the teenager. And it's remarkable. It's almost instant. So that's really what I would say about working with children. I'm sure we could spend an hour. And I'm sure Philippa could talk about this a lot. Right, Philippa?
Hi. Yes, it is very powerful.
Yeah.
Working using the mother, whatever the age of the child.
Yeah, whatever the age, really. And Rika, please consider speaking about the geometric patterns in our bodies. You once mentioned that the shape of a hexagon is often represented. I assume it's due to the water crystals in the body. How about other geometric shapes? I would love to know more about this. As we get older, circles become very prominent. You know, we have big circles around us, but which get bigger and bigger. But we are geometric, every molecule, you know, from the snowflakes, from the water. Emoto's work, it's all geometric. Every molecular structure is geometric, and there's a lot of hexagonal shapes there. But it's a fascinating area, sacred geometry, and the platonic solids, the shapes of the platonic solids, are within the body, because we see the diagrams of molecular structures only in 2-dimensional form, but there are 3 and maybe more dimensions. And of course, there are many, many spirals. So we see the spirals in the DNA, in every function of the body, there are spirals. And so most aspects of nature. So, but discussing this in terms of nature and how the Fibonacci series comes into every plant, every aspect of nature adheres to core patterns of life. And we know that there are fundamental patterns of life. The Merkaba is one pattern, and of course it goes into the torus, but then there are structures more complex in the Merkaba. And that applies to absolutely everything. Every cell has all sorts of structures. It's something we could spend a whole session on, a day. So thank you for the question, Rika. But I think it is time to go into some meditative work with the pad. Please give me feedback afterwards if you felt the pad moving. Any questions, urgent questions before we go into this?
Could you just say what the intention with the pad is? How it came about?
How it comes about. There is a higher intention. I don't always know that. So make a pad. That's the intention. Just listen, do your job, and just do what I say. And that's the intention. So I don't always get that intention, Christine.
Okay.
But I see the intention afterwards in its application. But the image, the inspiration comes to me first, sometimes with a state of horror that I have to create 6 new cards. If you realize we used to create a card a year. So, but you know what? It was just at the time of the COVID, and I began to realize that it had to do with what we're going through. So you realize that there is some intention attached to it. Of course, the applications, the potential is always way beyond what we see. But I realized that COVID had something to do with this. And then, of course, the vaccinations and who knows what after that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So let's look at nice word, harmony. And uniqueness. That's interesting. Recognizing that we all have our unique aspects, potential, medicine, song. We're all unique beings that come together because the universe needs our unique medicine, our personal medicine. So finding harmony between those unique aspects of humankind, which is interesting. So even when we look at political parties, you know, they are unique. People have contracted into certain belief systems. But it doesn't mean to say we cannot have harmony between divergent, unique opinions, qualities. So that's one aspect of those words. Finding the harmonization and unification of the unique parts of ourselves and our connection with the world and nature. Any other suggestions before we go into this? Any thoughts?
So many. I mean, in the body, each part has a unique function, place, but it all works in harmony. And it's just one of the great mysteries. It's snowing here. Every snowflake is unique. We call it snow. It's just a mind-blowing fact or whatever basis of life, of
wonderful, Rama. And we spoke about the geometrical patterns of cells and molecular structures. They are all like snowflakes, unique. But like everything in nature, there is harmony because everything works in synchronicity. Limor, you were going to say something.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about respecting the uniqueness of everyone. And before you started, I wanted to say something. It really moves me. This is the first opportunity for us, like Life Alignment family, to really almost physically support each other because of the COVID. And it's such wonderful experience that everyone says, I got the vaccine yesterday, I supported him today. That it's like, it's my best dream. And we are big family, and we are orchestrated, and we are very harmonized, and wow. I'm thankful this is the only thing, but I'm thankful for the COVID, because this is the power of love for me. And I thank every one of you, each one of you, and you, of course, Jeff. It's a remarkable experience.
That's beautiful, Limor. Thank you. Yeah, and if you look at each face, little rectangle, we are all very unique beings. And I think we've demonstrated that harmonization, as you said, Limor. All right, let's celebrate that. And I'll use the pad as we go along. Let's start off with sitting in a comfortable position and spine erect. Allow the breath to move easily and gently up and down the spine. And become aware of that movement as it interacts with our chakras, because I will use this pad on the chakras. So be mindful of the movement of the breath up and down the spine as it connects into the chakras. Bringing light from the immense presence around us. Through the breath, through the chakras. And I'm going to start using the pad more down at the belly. I'll let you know what I'm doing, so if you sense it out, but try and keep neutral mind so you're not influenced by the suggestion. Using the chakras as the metaphor here, each one unique, color, shape, form, function, energy. And finding harmonization between them so they work as a cohesive team together. Bringing the pad up to more the solar plexus. And extending that to our own unique spirits that have come to fully express themselves, to contribute their qualities, their medicine, their song to the world. Their unique spirits in harmony. Moving it up to the heart. Quite intense. And you probably feel it at the throat right now. Sorry, I can't speak. Brow. And crown. And feeling all the chakras just come into complete coherence. Which extends out into the multiplicity of unique beings, qualities out in the world. Trusting that life eventually brings them all into harmony. We recognize that at the higher dimensions of being, everything already is. It's just visualizing and trusting that that higher dimension may permeate into personalities, into 3D, into the physical reality, from absolute reality. We work with this in life alignment all the time, aligning the higher order at the causal level, bringing alignment and coherence with the lower order. So we open up that channel. Let's come fully into body consciousness and connected into the earth. Feeling present yet connected. Whenever you feel ready, just gently open your eyes. And if you're able to speak, I would invite either through the chat or verbally. Let me know your experience. Hope it was good for you like it was for me.
Jeff, I'll talk a little bit about my experience, Sherry.
Yes, Sherry.
Okay. At first, I felt a spinning, like from kind of towards the middle and the back. And as you went down, then it shifted where it felt a little bit more like a rocking motion, like left to right, like I was moving left to right.
Okay. Great.
I'll say something, Jeff.
Thank you, Sherry. Yes, Elizabeth.
I believe that this was very strong at clearing foreign energy. It felt like, when you get that healing is, for me, is a chilling. I feel chilled. So it's almost as if it's all of my cells are opening up. It felt like after that foreign energy is gone, then there's this starburst of purity that can come out of us. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments here. Anybody else want to comment?
May I say something?
Sure.
My experience was probably the strongest ones to a very, very long time. It was very, for me, it was opening up totally my third eye and my crown chakra as well. It was like somebody was making some fire in my head. And it was so deep. I don't know when I experienced this kind of before. So I was very interested about this little thing what you have done, the latest, this pad, including all these. I guess it's a powerful, really powerful tool in the future for many things, I guess.
Thank you for that, Juna.
Thank you.
Well, after that, I don't think I'm sending it out. I think we'll just come together once a week and experience it. You can just have to make one pad. I mean, look at that. I think it's amazing.
Love that.
No, we want to use it with our clients too, Jeff.
Oh, come on.
Yes,
Bring them to the Tuesday night. We'll all be here.
Share it.
But isn't it amazing? I mean,
Yeah.
let's look at it, that we can transmit this energy around the world. But I think what you said, Elizabeth, is very, very true. It's like what we did in our chakra workshops this last weekend. The throat chakra, we were deprogrammed some very dark, deep, ancient programming. And that was very, very powerful. And Anna, I saw you. How are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling so great. My pain in the body is completely, now I can say it's completely gone. And you used it when I received the balance, and you put it on your crown chakra, I think, during the balance. And I felt like, so I can agree with Elizabeth, it cleansed all the foreign energies that I had in my body. And it's, yeah. So you see, I'm so thrilled I can't, I can't speak. It's just amazing. During the meditation, I decided, okay, I will put myself on a plane tomorrow because I want to have this pad. So I'm coming, Jeff, picking it up. I can't wait.
Yeah, and Mary, thank you for your email. And I think this is going to answer your question that you asked, because yeah, I have a strong feeling that it's going to deal with that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to reply to that. You can just get that message. Anybody else?
Yes. I felt a harmonious, warmth, expanded feeling around all my chakras, and I have an imbalanced left side of the body that I've been working very much with the last month. And now I felt harmony and a nice warm feeling spreading all through my body, and the left side was balanced together with the right side, so I felt whole.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was lovely.
That's amazing, Tina. You felt the two sides coming into alignment.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. It was pretty powerful for me, I know. Intense stuff. Anyone else? Thank you for...
Do you hear me if I speak?
Yeah, who's that?
This is Malin speaking.
Malin. Yeah.
Malin speaking, yeah.
Sure.
And
yes, Malin.
I didn't feel much at all, actually. I felt a little pulsating feeling and a bit of tingling, but I didn't feel so much at all.
Right.
So I'm a bit envious of all you other people. But
but it's got nothing to do with how much you feel, Malin. You know that.
Yeah, no.
Some people may not feel at all.
Yeah,
it's
I normally
not
don't feel very much.
But you know your pattern. You don't normally go there, so it's okay. And so we don't try, because some people will feel deeply and some people not. It doesn't say that it's not working.
And I think that's rather important too. You don't have to have
no,
a big sensation.
not at all.
It works anyway.
Exactly. Can be a little bit of a tingle. My son, who's helping with the products, he came to me and he didn't feel anything. And he said, Dad, I think you have to up the frequency of this thing. And then I didn't feel anything. So then we had a meeting with somebody who's helping us with promoting our vortex and life alignment in general, and who's very sensitive. I don't know if you're on the call here, Margareta. Here. And she sat in it and she had to remove it from the base chakra almost immediately. Says it's the most so powerful. Then she used it elsewhere, and it was very. And he was there at the meeting, so he looked at her. Okay, but he felt it when she was experiencing, but not when. So that's the interesting thing. Okay.
I can like to add,
Yes,
Jeff, with Christine. I was at the throat chakra on Saturday, and as soon as you put the pad on top of your crown, it was immense. As soon earlier before the meditation today, when you put the mat on your chest, it was like chest, throat. I felt it right away. I get shivers. So when we did the meditation, it got stronger and stronger, especially from heart up, which I thought was a little bit strange since my lower chakras are the weakest. But maybe that's because it moves more from heart up that you feel it. I don't know. And I was also leaning towards the left, and I had shivers, every chakra going up, really tough shivers. And I felt a lot of expansion in the chakras, but in the throat, it felt a little bit almost like it was contracting. And in the crown, or on the crown, there was an immense energy all the time. As you went through the chakras.
Right.
And it seemed to me to be a wide vortex anti-clockwise.
Okay, good. Elizabeth is agreeing with you. Yeah, during the weekend, I thought everybody's eyes were closed and wouldn't see me while I was giving myself an honorary degree on my head, but I think Diana saw it.
Yeah, it looked like the executioner's cap.
What was that on your head? It's like, that's how we give people a certificate for advanced modules. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And so come every week, we'll do some work with the chakras and everything else. And then I won't have to send any out to any of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was absolutely marvelous. I was so relaxed, I fell asleep.
Thank you. Oh, was that you? No, that's you. I thought you were speaking from down there.
תודה רבה, ג'ף, היה ממש טוב. תודה
רבה
לך.
תודה לכם.
כל טוב.
היי, ליאורה.
לכולם, ולילה טוב.
תודה, ריטה.
תודה רבה.
ליאורה.
לילה טוב.
לילה טוב. Good night, all. Carry this energy throughout the week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
לילה טוב, תודה רבה.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Good night. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, bye.
Night, everyone.
Jeff, grazie a tutti.
Prego.
Thank you, Jeff. Love to
Diego.
everybody.
Grazie infinite.
Bye, Jeff.
Buonanotte. Bye, Dee.
Bye, Jeff.
Thank you so much.
Grazie.
Ciao Jeff, grazie. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti. Ciao.
Ciao. Tutti frutti. Ciao, ciao.